What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruined the hobby I love with your bullshit.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, guys are doing well out there. Before we get the show started, Ryan and I have an important job to do. We're over here rubbing and cleaning and molesting and fondling every card that we have in existence because, folks, you got the green light, the green flag, if you will, to start rubbing and waxing and soaking and doing whatever you want to your trading cards that you send in to be graded by the Professional Sports Authentication Company. Why you watch the show tonight as we go live around the world at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time, Sports Card Radio, the #1 program on the internet. While you're listening tonight, get out your microfiber cloths. Get your Kurt's Card Care Kit. That guy's probably sold out, so you might have to go with a secondary supplier. Find your Q-tips, your spray bottles, and as you listen to Sports Card Radio tonight, you should be having every single one of your cards out waxing and rubbing and trimming and doing whatever you want with your sports trading cards, because the sports card industry can't tell if you rubbing and waxing them. So you might as well be doing everything you can to get those 10s. We got lots of things to talk about on today's program, including the rubbing and the waxing. We could potentially have a special guest on the program as well, but we are joined, super producer Tim in the background, He is somewhat disappointed because we did not get that phone call this week from Fanatics or one of the big companies out there offering $100 million for Sports Card Radio. But I am sure of it that after today's show, the industry is just going to blow up because not only are sports trading cards more expensive these days, harder to get, harder to find, but guys, now you need a wax cleaning kit in order to be a true collector in this industry. The industry is going to completely blow up in a good way, and Sports Card Radio is likely going to get bought out here any week now. But until we get that buyout offer, we will be joining you every Thursday night here on YouTube and around the world. We are joined also by Mr. Juice himself. Ryan, how are we doing tonight?
Everything's absolutely amazing. I think I got a Mr. Juice card up here somewhere. So Mr. Juice himself, Barry Bonds. Hey, we were the beneficiary of watching that man juice over the air. That is right, guys. You can rub juice all over your sports cards, and we're going to be talking all about that today. But before I begin, guys, I just want to quickly, can I shout out Kurt's Card Care real quick?
Please do.
Never mind. Speaking of that, you were talking about a special guest we might have. I've been in communication with Mr. NorCal Sports Cards himself. That is right. The man who owns the hobby shop, actually very close to where we are up here in Northern California. And the Victor Wembanyama card was pulled at his shop. He took it out to PSA. He got a PSA 10 on that sucker. And he gave the infamous shout out to Kurt's Card Care. So he might be joining us. If he doesn't, I do have a message to relay to the audience, to the haters, to the masses out there, and we will certainly do so. So we look forward to it if he calls in to get the scoop on this Victor Wembanyama. But we got a lot to talk about in the sports card world. I don't know if you wanted to dive right into the trimming. I did have a brief other topic that came in very, very late. This is 5 minutes ago. This email came in about 2023. Maybe we'll start here as the people filter is. It's the chat, the infamous chat. Rick Galvez is in the chat. A little birdie told me that I may have been saying his name incorrectly over the years. And I kind of, I breathed in some of that Kurt's Card Care juice and I rethought it. And I think it's actually Rick Galvez. So welcome. Phoenix Rising. Shout out to you. Mr. Bob Boozle, your wife, let you come visit us. Welcome. Queen City Cards, Caesar, Brody, Jason, DGen Rips in the house. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Big show for you guys. NASCAR Radio, one of the first viewers, one of the first listeners of Sports Card Radio, quite literally ever. Talking about 15 some odd years ago. And I met Val at one of these nationals many, many years ago. I can't remember if it was I think it was the Cleveland one. Shout out to you, Val. Hope everything's going good. And we got a lot going on, but let's read this email that we got about 2023 Topps Cosmic Chrome. It says, hey there, not sure if you follow the product or not, but there is an insert called Planetary Pursuit with alleged print runs diminishing as a parallel for further away from the sun. Venus being close to the sun, this is like a little astronomy lesson, should have had a decent amount of cards out there in the wild. However, none of them were surfacing, leading people to assume that they were not printed for some reason. Anyways, they are suddenly popping up some 9 months after the release. This in and of itself is odd, but there's a seller with at least 2 of them on eBay. And that seller is, if I got this right, if I'm incorrect, you can sue us and we'll see you in court. Topps Chrome Planetary Pursuit Venus. These just popped up on eBay. Ronald Acuna. MC Sports Cards had a couple of them. I think he's a card consigner or card shop owner. So just something to keep an eye out, that cards randomly popping up months later. So maybe if they were printed in abundance, we'll see a bunch of them. But I did want to get your thoughts on Breaker Babes. This is an ad from several years ago, quite frankly. I think this is from 4 years ago. Never came to fruition. What are your thoughts?
It's tragic.
It's tragic, isn't it?
Yeah, we would have been big fans of Breaker Babes. So that's too bad. There are plenty of Breaker Babes in the industry, though. I don't know if you necessarily need a dedicated channel to it. I actually think that kind of corners you. I agree with the kind of the backyard model or the caked breaks model. You have,
Multitude.
having an attractive lady on payroll and have her break.
I like it. You want to dive into the topic of the week?
I think we might as well dip and dive into the Kurt's Card Care situation. So
Just
for those, maybe we should do a little bit of a recap. So
for sure.
PSA Card has had Sports Card Radio blocked on multiple streams, multiple channels. If you are not blocked by PSA Card, I don't think you've gone hard enough at the professional sports or sports card authenticating company, who again gave you the green light to wax and rub down your cards this week. In fact, if you're not, we're of the opinion it's like not juicing during the 90s in Major League Baseball. Because why don't you go ahead and read I don't know who this guy is, honestly. But apparently he's making statements for PSA, and it relates to this Victor
he runs PSA.
Wembanyama card. He runs PSA.
He runs PSA, so
Yeah.
he is qualified to speak for them. He does say he addresses the Wembanyama card that obviously got a lot of attention, and we might talk to the guy that pulled the card. Anyways, he says lots of conversations about the Wembanyama card in the last couple days. PSA stands by the PSA 10 grade they gave it. They said they do want to clarify that PSA does not approve of any chemicals or foreign substances, aka something maybe like Kurt's Card Care, being added to the surface of a card to improve the condition or appearance. If we detect that this has happened to any card, we will consider it altered. The dreaded word in the sports card landscape. Well, what had happened is probably less than an hour from here, a Victor Wembanyama card had gotten pulled from a card shop called NorCal Sports Cards. The guys, these are young guys too, in their early 20s, took this card down to collectors, about 6-7 hour drive away, and submitted it to PSA. They got a PSA 10. In a video released by NorCal Sports Cards, they infamously shouted out Kurt's Card Care. They originally posted on Instagram, also a shout out to Kurt's Card Care, but then deleted it. So that obviously kind of created like a S storm of controversy. And that's what led to basically Ryan Hogue having to circle back and release a statement. Now, since then, we've gotten a response from Kurt's Card Care. We've gotten everybody kind of weighing in on their opinion about kind of restoration and cleaning. Jeff today was on his program saying that, hey, I think cleaning's okay. I do want to take people through the different types of cleaning, though, and we can do that on the show. I think we all, this is a hobby where we all can choose our own pursuit and our own passions and the own cards we want to buy. We all can have a line to draw. I mean, the ultimate line that needs to be drawn is done by PSA. They're the people who authenticate and grade these cards and give an opinion. But we all can have an opinion. Here's something very simple in wiping down a card with theoretically nothing added to that microfiber. You're just wiping maybe off some fingerprints, some dust, some whatever. I buy cards all the time where I take them out of the top loader where, yeah, there's some crap from the 1980s still on some of these cards and in these top loaders. And you do have to like either blow some things off or wipe them around. The next step, in my opinion,
hold on. To be clear, the microfiber rub down is considered kosher. This is considered like back in the day, like with since we'll compare this to baseball and juicing, this is like taking creatine or taking not necessarily something that GNC as illegal substances can make its way into GNC, but this is like taking a protein shake. Okay. You're not going to get You're not going to get kicked out of the Major League Baseball. You still can make the Hall of Fame by taking a protein shake. So the industry is comfortable with taking a cloth or whatever, maybe a little water. I don't know if water would do any good, but maybe you like fog it down. Like when you clean your glass, you're supposed to like fog your glasses. Because if there is like a hard substance on there and you wipe it with that microfiber, it's just going to put a big old fat scratch on that. So maybe you can like put a little mist, a little fog, whatever, and wipe it down with the microfiber cloth. This is perfectly acceptable in the card community. I believe the grading companies have even said this is perfectly acceptable as well. I don't know why they don't just do this. They could charge for it, I guess, but I don't understand why on modern cards this isn't either an upsell or just something that they do. Because it seems to me like if I'm not doing this, and I like this person had no gloves on, but I think have some gloves on and wipe down your card, and then you remove all the fingerprints. It would suck to get a PSA 6 because I just happened when I was trying to get in the soft sleeve or something, I left a fingerprint mark on it. So I think this is something that the card company should probably just do, or the grading company should just do, or offer as like an upsell, 50 cents or something, or $1. But this supposedly is okay. Now, apparently you have other methods of cleaning cards to show us as well.
I do, and I'm actually just glad you jumped in there because I do want to read the statement from our boy NorCal Sports who pulled the Victor Wembanyama. And, hey, he shouted out Kurt's Card Care. I think everybody's thought is, hey, is this card juiced with, the cream and the clear in the Balco? So he might come on later. We might have NorCal Sports. You can imagine he's a busy guy right now. He's probably trying to maybe even potentially sell this card. So you can imagine this guy's phone is blowing up off the hook from people around the country, including haters as well. He's been introduced to the life of the sports card haters in the last week as well. But I do want to read his text that he sent me. This is literally from the last half hour, because I said, hey, when you come on, we're just going to ask you, hey, did you rub it down with Kurtz, and so on and so forth. He says, I would like to say that absolutely no foreign substance was used on the Wembanyama. The card was absolutely perfect and only had a small fingerprint that was removed simply with a microfiber. So he did, in theory, wipe it down, probably not as aggressively and probably very carefully when you're wiping down an $800,000 million card. And like you said, there may have been a fingerprint on it. So that's the statement from NorCal Sports Cards. If he comes on, we can get into a little more detail about that. And then why did he, if that was all he did, why did he shout out Kurt's Card Care? I think that's an honest, fair question to ask. So that's to date, what is being said about the Wembanyama is that it was just wiped down simply to remove a fingerprint, and no foreign substance was added. Theoretically, something from like Kurt's Card Care. And as you were saying, this has become a fairly, especially on modern cards, these chrome cards and these shiny cards, this has become fairly acceptable that if you are submitting cards to grade, you will wipe these cards down. A step up from that, in my opinion, and there are varying degrees of where you can take these things, but is to add a substance like Kurt's Card Care, like car wax, like juice, like jizz, like whatever, and you apply it to the card and you simply wipe it off. And this may, wipe off any scratches, may wipe off any film on the card or dirt or anything, juice, whatever it is. This, in theory, can help perhaps do that. To me, that's a step up. And now this is where, we do start getting into the gray area. This is a foreign substance. Kurt's Card Care, I think, is a foreign substance. So when we go back to the PSA statements, PSA does not approve of any chemicals or foreign substance being added to the surface of a card to improve the condition or appearance. That, in my opinion, is what is happening right here. So Kurt's Card Care and these people who make these products just have to come to grips with PSA doesn't like what you're doing. PSA doesn't want you to do this.
I think
maybe you could come up. I think he knows. Yeah, he's smart enough to know that. He
Yeah.
maybe should come up with his own grading service, and maybe we can dive deeper into that.
I don't think he needs to, though. Hold on. I don't think he needs to. I think the fact that PSA, again, the professional sports authenticator, the top dog in the business, you send them that kaboom card right there, they're going to grade it. They're not going to say that was altered. So if PSA, again, it's like Balco. This is the parallels between what Barry Bonds was on, HGH, which apparently back then they didn't have a test for, Marion Jones, all the athletes that were involved in this. Even if they were testing for steroids at that time, which they weren't, but if they were, Barry Bonds would have sailed through. Just like Marion Jones, she was going through all kinds of testing for the Olympics, and she sailed right through. Kurt's Card Care is like Balco. It's like HGH. It's like the cream in the clear, guys. Why would you not take it? Okay. Now, caveat there. If that's my personal collection, Patrick Mahomes card, and I'm just going to put it in the safe, I'm not going to do that to my body. I'm not going to do that to my card. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now, something's going to happen to that card. It's going to start warping and peeling and discoloring. I don't know. Although every time I see Barry Bonds, I'm always impressed with how good he looks. So I want a little bit of that cream in the clear too, because he looks great every time I see him. Okay.
Damn right.
Not everybody on the juice is like that, but Barry looks great every time I see him. But for my personal collection cards, I don't want them juiced and cleaned. But if you're in the business of buying and flipping, and this is probably why Jeff Wilson got in his program today and said, hey guys, it's totally okay. Rub down your cards and do whatever the hell you want with them. Jeff Wilson is now in the business of selling cards. If you are in the business of buying cards and grading them and selling them, I have no idea why after today you would not be doing this to every single one of your cards. Period. End of story. PSA has no way to detect this, apparently. They don't care if you come into their offices and shout out Kurt's Card Care. Thank you, Kurt's Card Care. Couldn't have done it without you. I mean, this is like when you get married. It's like you get up there and you do a little speech, and you're like, "Oh, thank you, Mary." You thank some other girl. Thank you. Oh, wouldn't have been here without you. And then afterwards, your wife gets a little upset with you and like, "Oh, wait, I didn't mean to shout out Mary." It's like, no, the most important speech of your life. This is the biggest card that dude at NorCal Sports will ever pull in his life. It's probably the one time he will have to pull a card and drive it personally down.
I don't think he pulled it. A customer, I believe, pulled it. We can get this whole story to come from, but I believe a customer.
Best card that he'll ever touch in his life. Okay. And you think, again, it's like an Oscar speech. It's like a wedding speech. It's like an acceptance speech to the Hall of Fame. If Barry Bonds got put into the Hall of Fame and during his acceptance speech, he was like, "Oh man, thank you, Balco Laboratories. Man, I wouldn't have got here without you, Balco Laboratories. Man, thank you so much." I can't remember the guy's name that was infamous with that, but
Victor Conte. Victor Conte.
If Victor Conte was sitting in the front row, he said, and Barry Bonds is getting his Hall of Fame plaque, and Barry's like, "Victor, man, wouldn't have got here without you. You did it, bro. You did it. Thank you so much." I mean, that's basically what this guy from NorCal, and I'm not sitting here bashing the guy, but that's basically what he did. That's basically what he did.
Give me Victor Conte.
He got put in the Hall of Fame, and he thanked his steroid provider. He thanked the guy that gave him the juice. Period. That's what he did.
What's the maximum amount you can buy?
Right. This is, and then PSA comes out with a statement. Ryan Hoagie or whatever his name is, like this guy. We say the guy that works for the two guys that works for Jeff Wilson is a jabroni. This guy is even lower on the totem pole. Who the hell is this guy? He literally just gave everybody the green light to wax and rub down any single card that you have that you're trying to flip and sell. Wouldn't do this to my personal card. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody's unless you're like a chemist and you know exactly the chemistry involved in these trading cards. How would you know what's going to happen to these cards down the road? But if I'm pulling a card out of a break or a pack and I wanted a 10 or a 9 or whatever, I'm waxing, I'm juicing, I'm jizzing, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything I possibly can at this point. PSA clearly has no detection for this. I don't know why like a black light wouldn't work.
Nobody else does either. PSA is not they're not the only card grader, and they're not the only ones who can't catch this. So then they're just the ones who graded the big card.
To me, I don't know why PSA is not in the Kurt's Card Care business. Why aren't they just, this is an upsell. Why do I need Kurt's Card Care? Why can't I just send my cards all dusty and fingerprinted up to PSA, and for a click of the button, $5 a card, they get waxed and rubbed? Seems like a great business. And if they're going to let people walk into their office and give their Hall of Fame speech and thank their steroid provider, their drug dealer, for everything, couldn't have done it without you. Come on. And then you come out with a statement. This is why we have a problem with this hobby, is because the Ryan, what's the guy's name? Ryan Hoagie or Hogue?
Hodge,
whatever. This guy acts like we have the IQ of Kurt's Card Care. Who Kurt's Card Care looks like he might get on what's that, Amber's List, or what's the list where, like, if you're a child molester or something?
Chris Hansen's program.
It looks like Chris Hansen might knock on this guy's door at any day now. I mean, this guy is the creepiest looking dude I've ever seen in my life. But aside from that, and it's fitting that he comes up with some wax and some juice and some lube. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy's waxing and lubing other stuff.
I'm buying it all, though.
You're just buying it all, just max.
I'm max. Whatever. I'm trying to get to the max by the end of the show.
But
I'm just trying
this
to get
Ryan Hogue, whatever his name is, he acts like we all have the IQ of a fingerprint. Lots of conversation. I got to hold this card and its cousin. Shut the fuck up. You could hold 2 perfect sets of titties and you wouldn't know what you're touching. I mean, this guy just doesn't know what he's doing. And then he said, I want to clarify, PSA does not approve of any chemicals. And we stand by the original assessment, even though the guy was in our offices thanking his steroid provider. And then he thanked him on Instagram. Not just once, twice he thanked him. Okay, he thanks PSA. Doesn't even thank his customer, I don't think. Thanks PSA and Kurt's Card Care, and then explicitly says, thank you, Kurt. Couldn't have done it without you, brah. It doesn't sound like just a microfiber rub down happened to that card, because I don't think I need to explicitly thank Kurt's Card Care for a microfiber rub down. Seems to me I could have came up with that idea myself. But it's the all clear sign, guys. If you are a buyer and flipper of trading cards, especially one of these guys that buy raw, send into PSA, buy into break, you hit a big card, you send to PSA. Why are you sending these cards in without rubbing them down first?
Yep.
Why on earth would you do that? And this really puts the alarm to some of us that are buying these cards to put in our safe and to just have them for a while. I don't know what's going to happen with that Pat Mahomes card over the long term. Maybe it's like Barry Bonds, and in 20 years, he still looks great. Still looks like a great card. But maybe in 10 years, it looks like trash. We've seen this with Topps Chrome cards, certain Topps Chrome cards same with Finest cards back from like the 90s, early 2000s. You put them under UV light. If they sit there in a card shop under UV light, they basically, the color just gets washed out of them. Some of them had like this weird moisture on them as well. Like, we don't know what's going to happen to these cards in the long term. But if I'm a flipper, I don't care. I'm dipping, I'm diving, I'm doing everything I possibly can. Because these companies can't tell. And they really don't care. The statement from Ryan showed that they actually don't care. He actually doesn't care. Because he would have, if he actually cared, he would have came out with a different statement here. He still might have said, hey, you know, we don't approve of chemicals. I still stand by the grade. But he could have, they could have said, hey, we're looking into this. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing that. They're not going to do anything. They don't care. My guess is this time next year, they'll be rubbing and waxing your cards for you. Because there's no reason why we give, you know, Chris Hansen's latest subject to go investigate. Like, I don't know why we need to. Maybe it's a lot. He's probably a nice guy. He just sells wax and lube for pictures of men. Seems like a very honest profession these days. Do you want to walk the audience through the other lubing methods that are being done?
Right. We really only got to, like, you know, if we're talking about hooking up with a girl, we literally got to like first base. When we talk about, you know, you held hands with her and then you gave her a peck on the cheek, maybe, and rubbed some lube on her cheek. I think where you're taking it a step further is where you're trying to improve the corners or the edges. I didn't get into recoloring. That this mostly happens like on vintage cards where you're actually like Bob Rossing the fucking card and putting in color and putting in happy trees and stuff. On modern cards, you might try to, if you got 8.5 on your corners, you might try to like flatten them out. Here's Kurt's doing it with some kind of product you could buy over here. I mean, you guys better get over here and buy them before fucking I buy them all. That's all I know. That's all I know. That's for sure. So you can do that. Now, to take it a step further, and this is where we've got, you know, I don't want to say extensive knowledge, but we certainly know a lot of people who have been accused of card trimming, where you're actually getting a paper cutter. And here's Evan Mathis's, the former Philadelphia Eagle football player, famously showing you on TikTok how to trim a card. He also went further than this. He gave several other tutorials, how to fray an edge and all kinds of different things. This is just him using his famous paper cutter to trim a card. Now, what the next step is, and this is just kind of what Kurt has kind of evolved to lately, is he's soaking these cards in the juice, in the Kurt's juice, or some kind of magic Kurt juice or jizz or whatever it is. Now you might think, oh, they only do this with vintage cards. No. Go to his Instagram. They're doing this with it. Modern cards. They're soaking these cards for like 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days. They're soaking in Kurt's jizz. Here's another card over here that he's soaking. So this is, I mean, we went from rubbing these cards down to putting wax on them to rubbing the edges to trimming them. Now we're submerging them in juice. I don't know where the line is. At some point, for me, and everybody can have their own line. Everybody can decide what's right for them, what's not. If a Joe DiMaggio was sitting, both two Joe DiMaggios were sitting in front of me at a card show, and I knew that one of them had been freaking submerged in the Kurt's juice and one of them did not, I'm choosing the one that did not get submerged in the Kurt's juice. So Kurt and all the kind of card restorers, when they start doing this, regardless of what you feel, and you're just painting happy trees on these cards and you're just restoring them, you have got to understand that you are, to some people of the hobby, devaluing these cards. To me, this is devaluing this Joe. I don't care what the fuck it looks like when it comes out of here. I don't want a card that's been sitting in Kurt's card care juice for 2 days and then picked with a fucking thing. So I don't know, where's your line? Or for your safe, do you want this Joe DiMaggio for your safe?
No way. I tell you what, if I'm in the market for these types of Joe DiMaggio, what I look for is the old PSA holder. I look for the ones that are in the old holders, because then I know hasn't been maybe it's trimmed. Could be trimmed. They've been trimming cards for a long time. We know that. Okay. PSA, the first card they ever authenticated was trimmed. Okay. So trimmed cards have been getting by PSA since day one. But I don't know about this soaking and Q-tips and recoloring and pressing and doing all this other stuff. I'd rather have like an old holder one. Or what I like sometimes is a straight PSA 1. Give me one with a fat crease in it, because now I know it isn't all juiced up. Just give me a PSA 1. Like if I wanted to buy one of these Joe DiMaggios, I probably wouldn't buy a high grade one. It's been waxed and juiced and trimmed and pressed, recolored and touched, and all this other stuff. Could be fake too. Might not even be real. Just give me one that's got 4 creases on it and the kid wrote on the back of it and it's got a staple mark in it. It's fine with me. Fine with me. You know? Same with a lot of this modern stuff. I'm not looking for the PSA 10s. I'm not looking for PSA 10s. I'm looking for PSA 9s and 8s. Otherwise, you're buying the grade. Otherwise, you're buying this juice. You're buying this process. If you're buying 10s, you're buying this right here. This is what you're paying for. But I can't imagine this is, I mean, this is cardboard, old cardboard. And to put it in a liquid, yeah, maybe a week or two later, a month later, it's still fine. I can't imagine over a long period of time, this is good. This can't be good. This is something that is we're going to be sitting here even older than we are now. We're going to be sitting here probably in our 60s and half the graded cards for sale on eBay are juiced. And it'll be like the asterisk era of PSA grading, just like there was an asterisk era of Major League Baseball, where you kind of have to put an asterisk and kind of keep in mind that during the era of Barry Bonds played in, 50, 60, 70 home runs wasn't that hard if you were boys with Victor Conte. Same thing with the juiced era with the trading cards now. If you're getting 10s on stuff or getting high grade on this vintage stuff, it's because you've got stuff like this. Ohtani comes in, honest collector pulls it, sends it in, gets a 9. Somebody buys the Ohtani, cracks it out, puts a little juice on it, sends it back in, gets a 9.5. I tell you what, the business is probably right now is you go, BGS is selling at what, a discount to PSA. So you go find a BGS with a surface grade that is whacked, crack it out, juice it up, and send it to PSA. Guys, that's the moneymaker right now. That's the moneymaker. I would go on eBay, find anything in a BGS slab that's 9.5 on everything except for surface. Basically got dinged on the surface. Go buy your Kurtz Card Care kit, cut it open, cut your card open, crack it out, juice it up, send it into PSA or your favorite grading company, and it's going to come back a better grade. Period. End of story. That's where we're at with this hobby, guys. That's where we're at. This is what happens when you let the grifters take over. This is what happens when you let the Jeff Wilson, because I didn't listen to the Jeff Wilson, so maybe I'm putting words in his mouth, but my guess is Jeff don't got no problem with any of this. This is what happens when you let these guys ruin the hobby that we love. He's going to be fine with this. This is the new hobby. This is the new hobby. The Jeff Wilsons, the Kurt Card Cares, the NorCal Sports. These are the guys that are going to usher the hobby into a new era. 10X it, if you will, to use a Michael Rubin term. These are the guys that are going to 10X the hobby. And the way they're going to 10X the hobby is they're going to take old cards and they're going to either crack them out of this thing and recolor them, retool them, soak them, rub them, wax them, do whatever they got to do. They're going to do that. And with these modern cards, at the very least, they're going to take a microfiber towel to it, but they're probably going to use a wax. And I think we have Backyard Breaks on video talking about buying a card and rubbing out a dimple. That's what they're going to start doing. And man, if I had some BGS slabs where it was 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, 8 surface, I'm probably charging PSA 10 price for that on eBay, because that's pretty much what it is. And we are going to look back on this just like we look back on the juiced era of baseball, where you have fantastic athletic performance. Certainly was entertaining to watch to a certain degree. but you have to put an asterisk next to all the statistic achievements during that era. And we have to put an asterisk by a lot of these vintage cards, which again are going from PSA 2 to SGC 4. We're going from BGS 9 to 9.5. Or when you pull a Wembanyama card, which I don't know how much that card's worth, but I've heard 6 figures. You literally can show up in the offices of PSA, who later say, oh, no, foreign substances make a card alter. But no, you can shout out the king of selling kits to alter your cards. This guy is right now the king of selling kits that alter your cards, and the guy that pulled probably the most significant modern basketball card that was made this year, not of all time, but this year, Wembanyama Black 1 of 1, certainly the most significant card pulled this year. He shouts out the guy. I mean, it would basically be like winning an auction, or no, it'd be like selling your card, like you listing your card on an auction house and getting a record hammer, Ryan. Like we got a Kobe card that always sells for like 2 racks, and then we list it on PWCC, and all of a sudden the hammer price is 19,000. Everybody's like, "Whoa, what the hell? How did that Kobe card that's numbered out of 99 just sell for $19,000?" And then it's, oh, that was the Sports Card Radio guy. Let's go talk to them. And we're like, hey, we're in the PWCC headquarters. We're like, hey guys. One thing I want to say, thank you, Bill. I couldn't have done it without you, Bill Mastro. Oh, and my buddy Brent Higgins, you too, Brent and Bill Mastro. I couldn't have got this $19,000 hammer price on this $2,000 card without you. And everybody down the line is treating, at least I'll give Kurt some credit. And I don't mean to disparage the guy. We're just joking around with his appearance. He looks a little creepy to me, but I'll let you be the judge of that. He's the only one actually being honest and transparent out of everybody. Kurt's Card Care is the only one out of everybody that is actually treating you like you have an IQ. PSA is treating you like, oh, I can't hear that this guy shouted out Kurt's Card Care and then deleted his name off his Instagram post. PSA's statement basically treated like you have a 0 IQ. At least Kurt Card Care's out there in the open, guys. Rub your cards, wax your cards, soak your cards, trim your cards, rub the corner, roll the corner, whatever you want to do. At least this guy's treating us like we have a brain. So I actually appreciate his honesty and his transparency. He's the only one that is actually transparent out of everybody. Out of, if you were like
Evan Mathis as well.
Evan Mathis, who would you trust the most out of 3 people? You got Ryan Hogue or whatever his name is. You got the NorCal Sports guy with his statement that he just rubbed this with a microfiber cloth, or Kurt's Card Care. I would say 10 times out of 10 times, I trust whatever comes out of Kurt's Card Care's mouth. I don't believe NorCal Sports when he says, I just rubbed it with a microfiber cloth. Doesn't match up. Story doesn't check out, brah. Ryan Hogue says, oh, I held both cards in my hand. I stand by the authentication. Doesn't make a lot of sense, buddy. Doesn't make a lot of sense. It'd be like saying, well, yeah, Barry didn't take steroids. He thanked Victor Conte. It's like OJ almost too. It's like, it's like we got to believe OJ didn't kill his wife. It's the same. It's like everything's the same. Everybody's treating us like we have a 0 IQ. So out of all of these people, Kurt's Card Care is the most. This is where the hobby has gone to, guys. Kurt's Card Care is the most transparent and trustworthy person in the business. Kurt's Card Care is more transparent and trustworthy than PSA. Period. And it is sad. It is sad that the card trimmers and the card alters and the guy that sells kits to do that and instruction manuals how to do it are the most trustworthy and transparent people in the business. And I hope his business is booming. I imagine it is. again, if I repeat, if I was buying, grading to flip, I don't know why you would not be doing this. Period. End of story.
Yep. Yep. It's real simple for me. Like if I could have took juice in the 80s and 90s and got $180 million contract, boy, I'd be looking swoller than Barry Bonds, boy. Like pass me the needle. So if I was flipping cards, we don't do that on this. We don't do this on this channel. We buy graded cards. So it does concern me cards that I'm holding long. I doubt the Kobe Bryant autographs we had were submerged in Kurt's card care juice, but it certainly gets me thinking about really every card. I bought 2 examples of vintage cards, but like I said, they're doing this with modern cards. They're soaking fucking Prism Patrick Mahomes rookies for days, apparently. I mean, you could go watch all the videos. Like you said, at least the one guy being transparent is Evan Mathis and Kurt's card care. Kurt's Card Care did a live, I think it was last night or the night before, kind of responding to the whole thing. He estimates that about, and he doesn't have any direct knowledge of this, 20,000 cards a month go through the grading system prepped with Kurt's Card Care. So over the course of the year, that's about 250,000 cards that are juiced. My opinion, that number should go way up. If PSA is grading a million cards a month, 10 to 20 to 50% should be juiced. So hundreds of thousands of cards should now be juiced. And we are living in the juiced card era.
Yep.
So if you want to get cards in a certain holder, it might be a good time to buy them, because if they ever do catch on, if they ever do want to do what they say and prevent this type of stuff and don't want to allow foreign chemicals on this stuff, Kurt's Card Care, hey, the one thing he isn't transparent about is telling you what's inside the product. If he was actually truly transparent, tell us what this is.
Well, my guess is it's nothing proprietary. It's nothing proprietary. It's something that he's
probably why he doesn't want it.
And repurposing. Yeah, so it's nothing that he's, in a like a, he's got beakers and he's like doing all this. It's something that you get off the shelf and he's repackaging it, which is totally fine. But again, we don't know what's in there. And there's all kinds of we don't need to get into a long discussion on inconsistency of a product that is on the shelf, even when you're buying whether it's alcohol or some kind of wax or car wax or whatever. Formulations change over time, and the companies don't have to let you know. There's different quality that could come out of the ground. They could source it from China, then it could come from India. You don't know. So it could work. One batch could work. And then this is why, again, I'm not juicing and rubbing down any of my own personal cards like this. This is also a reason why Ryan and I, we buy and sell cards as fast as we possibly can, because this is what people are doing to these trading cards. And it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate.
Right. Because there is a divide. People don't want this. People think this devalues the card. And I think the Kurt's Card Care people and their fanboys, they don't really understand that. And I think that's where the clash is that people look at this Joe DiMaggio and they think it's fucking trash now. And I think there's the huge hang up. And PSA, whose opinion matters if you want to put it in their holder, is saying, hey, you better not be rubbing any kind of juice or jizz or Balco or steroids or water or anything, chemicals or foreign substances. I mean, that's basically means anything, in my opinion. To me, that means, hey, you can wipe your shit down, but the juice is illegal. But we've got no way to figure. It's like Major League, like you said, it's a very, very good correlation to baseball in the 90s. We got no way to test for it. So
nope.
Barry Bonds is sitting back watching Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, players half the talent he had, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?"
Right, and there, it's very similar to baseball because there's so much money involved. Okay, if you were a prospect in the 90s, it was take some sauce and get your $10 million contract, or don't take sauce and probably stay in the minors and then go work insurance after that. Same thing now. Take the sauce, take the Kurtz Card Care juice, rub your cards, and get the 10 and get the high price and the high value, or don't and not get it and end up with 9s and 8s and to where it's almost not even worth grading the card. It's not even worth grading the card if it's going to come back an 8, 7, 8. You got to get those 9s and 10s. But I tell you what, the game going forward, guys, is find those surface grades from those old BGS slabs. Find those 9.5, 9.5, 9.5, 8 surface grade. Buy that card, rub the juice on it, and now you got a 10. And you're going to be getting it at a discount because people just don't bid on BGS stuff anymore. I've been plucking BGS slabs off eBay recently at a cool discount to even some raw ones, like to even raw cards. It just shows you. And again, I'm not a big fan of Beckett, but that's where the industry has gone. And I wish we had better news. We have over 1,000 people tuning in to the Sports Card Radio program today. Appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in, taking time out of your busy lives on a Thursday while we talk about rubbing down pictures of men. And I wish we had better news for you. I wish we could say, hey, PSA, stand up company. I wish we could say, hey, PSA has a way to detect this. Oh man, PSA is man. You send your cards to them and they grade them. You know it's not altered. You know it's not juiced. You know it's not trimmed. You know it's not waxed. You know it's not soaked in some kind of liquid. But the truth is we don't. The truth is you should be doing that. That's the sad reality is if you're going to be sending your cards in, you should be juicing and waxing and rubbing and whatever these kits do. You should be doing that. If you don't, it's like not juicing as a Major League Baseball player back in the 90s. You're probably forgotten about. And yeah, maybe you didn't make any money. Yeah, a couple of them ended up in the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, Barry Bonds got a boatload of cash and he's looking great. So, and we know in this industry, we're not talking about injecting something in our body or rubbing something on our body. We're literally rubbing it on another picture of a man. And the sad reality is PSA has no way to detect this. And if that's the case, Kurt's Card Care business should be off the hook,
off the chain.
And look, if that's the case, PSA should just add this as a service, as an upcharge. Imagine how much money PSA would make if it was send your modern card in, and for an upsell, they rub it and they wax it. Extra $5 a card. Imagine how much money they would make. If he's saying 20,000 cards per month are waxed and rubbed, and PSA charged an extra $5 to $8 per card. I mean, we're talking about we're talking about a multi-million-dollar business right there that PSA could just bolt onto their company. If they have no way to detect this, which I don't believe. I don't really believe. I'm not a chemist. I certainly wasn't very good at science, but that to me, putting that wax on that card and just maybe he wipes it a little bit more than that, but there has to be residue. There has to be a smell. There has to be a way to detect that something foreign is on that card. There has to be.
Drug sniffing dogs.
A dog, something. Yeah. Anything. I mean, you can tell if your car, like a proper wax on a car. Okay. This is a vehicle. You can tell when you clay bar, there's like this clay bar that you have for cars. You clay bar your car and then you wax it. You can tell when you don't use the clay bar. And a car guy can look at a good wax job and a bad wax job. He's like, oh, that was done in the sun. Or, oh, they didn't buff that They only buffed that for 10 minutes. They should have done it for 20 minutes. But you're telling me PSA can't look at these modern cards and tell it's over waxed, it's over polished? Like that happens in the coin world. That happens in the watch world. Oh, that Rolex is over polished. Like Rolex has a very certain polish that they put on their watches, and you can over polish. And like professional watch, like not even great watchmakers, but especially the elite ones, they can tell the ones that are over polished. You're telling me the card PSA can't tell a card that has been over polished, over waxed, over rubbed? They absolutely can. They absolutely can. Just like we can look at baseball players and say, man, that dude is buff. He's probably on the juice. Okay. Only an idiot, even us as Giants fans during this era, we looked at Barry and we were like, wow, damn, what the hell is he taking?
I want that too.
I want that too. Where's that Balco Labs?
What's he's taking? What is he taking?
Look it up on Yahoo. So
drive over there.
They can tell with a wax like that. You should be able to tell with all the Kaboom cards that you've seen.
Well, why would you do it if it didn't make a difference? Like, why would you do it if it didn't improve the surface of the card? So what?
Right.
If only 20,000 of these cards are being submitted, yeah, they should be able to actually tell the ones that are over wax, even if they can't detect that it's on the surface through some kind of chemical way or some kind of test.
It should just look too good to be true. It should look too good to be true. And there should be some discretion there by the grading company saying this surface looks too perfect.
Well, it wouldn't just be this card. They probably don't just send in this card. It'll be 10 cards all with fucking juice dripping off.
Just
of them.
like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like that. You can see like your damn reflection in the card. It's so perfect. Like you should be able to tell that it's overdone. It's over polished. It's over buffed. It's like, it's too much. You should be able to tell. And the fact that PSA can't, again, shows you the IQ level at that company. And again, I'm not really sure, again, from a collector's point of view, what you're paying a premium for. What are you paying a premium for if they can't tell if it's been rubbed or soaked or waxed? And then from the flipper standpoint, why would you not be rubbing and waxing it if they can't tell? That's the state of the hobby right now. It's unfortunate, particularly for the collectors. I think there's too much of this flipper, 10x, buy and flip, $100 million card mentality in this hobby. Way too much of it. You grow this hobby by having people actually collect cards, buy and hold them, buy and collect them, go hunt them down, complete sets. Buy 10 Mac Jones cards, not to flip, but because they like the guy. That's how you're going to 10x the hobby. If we're just trading cards back and forth, dealer to dealer to dealer, the whole market collapses again. The whole market just recollapses. And we know there are repacks out there that are paying 90, 100%, 110% comps for things right now. This whole industry right now is being propped up by the breaker, the flipper, the reseller. And now we just introduced a whole new game to them, which they were already a part of. I mean, all these guys are, and now this is definitely going to be much, much more mainstream over the next 12 months. This is going to be every grading outlet is going to be doing this. I heard that at the Dallas card show, there was like 5 of these guys set up. Mm-hmm. Every card show you go to, there's going to be like 10 booths.
Soaking
people
cards.
doing shit like this. Soaking, rubbing down a corner. And then you're going to take that card and go walk it down to PSA. And they're going to slap it. This is where we're at. This is where we're at in the hobby. And everything's getting traded dealer to dealer. and it's getting propped up. Cards trade hands 10 different times. They get regraded, retouched before they finally end up in the hand of a collector. And this is the type of stuff that the collector's like, screw that. I don't know how much this is a Hannes Wagner card. My guess is that's a 6-figure card, probably. Like, or Hans Wagner or whoever that is. Yeah, Hannes.
Same guy.
Like,
Same guy.
so it's like, let's just assume that's a I don't know how much that card's worth, but let's just assume it's a $100,000 card. And I'm the type of guy that can spend $100,000 on a picture of a man. But after hearing about the rubbing and the waxing and then seeing, oh, you can turn it from a 2 to a 4 and it's really not that hard. Am I going to take my Hyundai and put it into a picture of a man, or am I going to go get the yacht, go get the girlfriend something, go get my second girlfriend something, go get, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that many people. Again, this card has to eventually end up in the hand of a collector. Like, for the value to hold, it has to go, you have to end up on like the common man. Otherwise, it gets traded, and then the bottom falls out. Same thing happens in the stock market a lot. You get these stocks that are traded by insiders and the institutions, and then eventually it's like retail doesn't want this stock, and it goes to shit. Same thing happens in the watch market. It goes to dealer. But if it never gets on the wrist of a guy that's actually going to wear that watch or put it in a safe or whatever, the value falls out. Collector car market, it's probably the same thing. Corvette over here needed a little bit of a touch up, goes to this guy over here. He does the work. Then it gets sent to this guy. He does a little bit more work on it. But if you never sell that Corvette to the guy that's going to put it in his garage or his collection, the value is just going to fall out. And that's what's going to happen in the trading card market. We're going to lose the guy that wants to buy this stuff, because he's going to be like, it was waxed. It was cleaned. It was, PSA has no idea what they're doing. It went from a 2 to a 4. I don't know what's going to happen to these cards in 10 years. Are they going to look like crap? These ones that got soaked, are they going to start crumbling? These ones with the wax juice on it, is it going to decolor the card? The edges are going to start to fray up. Who knows? Is it going to react with the plastic in the grading thing? I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. Be great to have, we probably make some calls, but find a chemist out there that can give us like a legitimate opinion on this stuff. Order some Kurt's Card Care. They'll be able to probably figure out what it is and see if that's actually safe to put on these trading cards. I doubt it probably is. I certainly, if that was my card, I wouldn't be feeling great about this. Unless, again, I'm trying to sell it. And that's where this industry has gone. There's so many people in this. Again, Jeff Wilson brought in a bunch of people like, oh, Jeff Wilson's so good for the hobby. Well, he brought in this kind of stuff. Brought in the guys that are waxing and rubbing. And because, oh man, on-field performance, Ryan, as we found out, doesn't mean shit.
Don't mean shit.
You can't wait for the All-Star game. You can't wait for Luka to win the title, guys. You can't wait for Luka Doncic to win his 9th title. In the playoffs and the MVP and the All-Pro and all this other stuff. You can't wait for that. Patrick Mahomes cards over the last year have not done shit. Especially if you factor in selling fees, sales tax, income tax, any kind of thing out there. His cards haven't done dog crap, and he had a great season. On-field performance doesn't mean nothing. It's all about condition, rarity, bumping up a grade, getting a card that's got a surface imperfection, wiping it off, and boom, you just made $1,000. You didn't have to have him hit a home run. You didn't have to have Luka score 72 points and stop eating cheeseburgers. You didn't have to wait for this dude to die. You didn't have to wait for a home run or the call up or whatever. All you had to do was wipe some juice on it.
Rub juice.
And that's where we're at.
It's really easy.
That's where we're at in the hobby. It's gone from, again, the Jeff Wilson was like, by Will Greer, my statistical, we don't play the rest of that clip, but he literally had some kind of like stupid algorithm that he like came up with that said Will Greer was a 4 times. He didn't come up like off the top of his head. Jeff Wilson literally had an algorithm tell him that Will Grier was a 4 times better investment than Kyler Murray. He had some statistical thing that he had come up with. These guys, these investor guys, realize that doesn't work. You can't forecast what happens on the field and translate that into the value of the trading card. It doesn't work. But what does work is you find a PSA 2 and you soak it and you turn it into a 4. What does work is you find a Wembanyama and you rub a little wax on it and you get a 10. We kind of buried the lead. The card's off center too. Not that off center, but it is off center.
A little.
So it's a little off center and it's been rubbed down. You find this Otani card, which got a surface flaw on it on the 9. You get the 9, crack it out, wipe the surface flaw off, boom, 9.5. Or you find Eagle Eye Joe Clemens and it's 10-10.
Oh, but Bill Mastro. Bill Mastro's out of jail. He could just start cutting up Honus Wagner's again.
Our boy Bill Mastro.
Shout out Bill Mastro. Just want to shout out, guys. Shout out Gary Moser, Bill Mastro.
Yeah, Ryan and I had
Grant
record
Higgins.
closes on our auctions recently, and we want to shout out
Bill Mastro.
Shout out.
Shout out Kurt's Card Care.
Thank you. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Record hammer on that auction. Shout out to the shill bidders out there. Appreciate it. This is where the hobby is, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere because again, this is the easy money right now. This is the easy cash. And then you have repack guys. They're going to pay you 100% comp on that Otani. And all you had to do was get the 9, wipe it off, get the 9.5, and you got to have these repack guys pay you 110% comp for it. Easy as that, guys. You don't have to wait for performance. The guy doesn't have to get called up. The guy could be hurt like Otani. Doesn't have to win MVP.
Can I ask you a question? First thing I'm trying to do, I'm actually going to try to sell Kurt's Card Care out, and then I'm going to treat this like tickets. I'm going to scalp these motherfuckers. $49.99. Guys, this is going to be $129.99. You get them on sportscardradio.com, and it's going to be the only MF in place you can get them. Because I doubt Kurt can produce these at the amount I'm going to be able to buy them out. So I'm going to sell them out, and then you're only going to be able to get Kurt's Card Care at sportscardradio.com. This is how you make money in tickets. And so I'm going to show you guys actually how to fucking make some real money. These are going to be $129.99. These are going to be fucking $200. I mean, everything's just going to be triple the fucking price. And sportscardradio.com, in just a few hours, those will be live there. But the question I want to ask you, shouldn't, if these guys, we saw the statement from the PSA president or CEO, whatever it is, I'm sure it was just Nat telling them what to do. Shouldn't, and now that SGC is a part of PSA, we talked about, I think that last week or the week before, shouldn't, if these guys really gave an F, go deactivate these cards? Look, here's foreign substance. Here's this Honus Wagner card. It got dipped in card juice. He literally has, it's all on Instagram. And then he shows you what holder it's in. Go deactivate that card. Here's the foreign substance. My guess is the grading standards at SGC are going to be the same at PSA now. That's why Peter's kind of been deemed irrelevant now, because he's not going to be able to come out with a statement when these type of things happen. It's going to come from Daddy Nat. So why don't you guys log in, go to Kurt's Instagram, look at all the cards he's altered and that are now in new holders, and deactivate them? Is that what they should do if they care?
It shouldn't be hard. How many 1911 M116 Sports Life Hans Wagner with the blue background come through the door that get graded SGC 4 in the last 180 days at SGC? Not many. You should be able to figure out what card this is. You can photo match a jersey, right? We can photo match a jersey. Why can't we photo match these trading cards and then, like you said, actually have a nutsack and decertify them? But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because the card graders realize what great business this is going to become. You're going to be able to find these 2s and 3s, and again, BGS cards with surface nags, and you're going to be able to just resubmit them. And this is a great business. It's a brilliant business. So they have no reason. They have absolutely no reason. In fact, they probably want this normalized so they can do what we say. And I'm going to get my Zion. Jeff Wilson told me to buy Zion. So I got my Zion and I'm going to, wait, what's this? I can have my standard processing, but what's this over here for an extra $8? They're going to wax it and rub it and do all this other stuff to it at PSA. This time next year, Card Care is not even going to be in business because these card grading companies are just going to do this for you. That's why they're not going to step in and do anything. They want this to be normalized. Otherwise, they would have a nutsack and decertify a card like this. They would decertify the just on the mention of Kurt's Card Care in your offices should decertify everything about that card and probably every submission that guy's ever sent in. Period. Again, it's exactly like getting elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame on the suspicion that you never did steroids. And the one person you think is a steroid dealer. That's exactly what happened here with this Victor Wembanyama card. The one person they thanked didn't thank their mom for giving birth to them, didn't thank their dad for being there all their life, didn't thank their wife or their girlfriend or PSA's president or Nat Turner or anybody or fucking the Alaskan airline pilot that drove him down there or Boeing or whoever that got him there safely.
Oh my God.
He said, thank you to my steroid dealer for cleaning my Victor Wembanyama good enough to where I get a 10 on it. Victor looking good too. Victor looks fine.
Hey, but I mean, like I said, I want the juice. I'm going to sell out Kurt's Card Care. I'm going to call it Vinter Conti. He probably lives like less than an hour from me. So I'm driving over there after the show, after I pick up all my Kurt's Card Conte juice. I'm getting sportscardradio.com. You're going to have Kurt's Card Care juice and you're going to have Conti juice for sale, like within the next few hours, whenever this live stream is over. Period. I'm getting into the juice business and I'm taking that shit myself. I want to look like this. Like, you better believe I'm jabbing a needle in myself if it means $80 million and I look like that. Hello. I'll
take 8 million.
I'll take this card.
Yeah, that's the right price. I was bidding on that. It's easily $1,000 card.
Juiced or not, this is $1,000 card.
Juiced or not.
Where do you want to take the conversation? I mean,
shout out. We got 1,100 people in the chat tonight. I mean, this is a big one.
Fired up. Chat's
fired up. The hobby's fired up. Just want to shout you guys out. Thank you all for tuning in. We try to entertain you the best we possibly can. But like we always say in the beginning, I think some people think we're joking. Maybe they don't. Maybe they actually think we're serious, because I am serious. There's a lot of people in this hobby that want to tell you this, that, or the other, that want to tell you what to invest in, what to buy, what to sell, that want to blow a bunch of smoke up your ass. I would have loved to come on here and destroy Kurt's Card Care and destroy his business and destroy what's going on here. But at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, he's the only one in this situation actually being 100% truthful and transparent. He's the only one. I don't believe the NorCal sports guy when he says all he did was a microfiber cloth, but I happened to shout out my steroid dealer. Don't believe him. And I don't believe a word that comes out of the PSA president's mouth. That, oh, this is fine, blah, blah, blah. No, you should know. You should know. You should be able to look at these cards and know if they've been waxed. Like Ryan says, somebody sends in a stack of 50. Usually you're sending in a stack of like 20 of these cards at once. Just economically, it makes sense, unless it's $1 million card. In this case, it's a little bit different, but this is a unique situation. The vast majority of people send in 50 cards at once. If you're using Kurt's Card Care on one of the cards, you're probably used them on all of them.
Hello.
You should be able to tell as you're going through the submission, like, damn, these surfaces don't even have like, these are flawless. It's just, it's almost, I mean, it's just, it's beyond me. It'd be like walking down Miami Beach and you walk 2 miles on Miami Beach and you're like, oh, guys, I didn't see a set of fake titties or an ass job at all. I didn't see any of that. Nobody would believe you. Nobody in their right mind would believe you. And that's why I don't believe anything that comes out of PSA's mouth. I don't believe the NorCal guy. I believe he probably juiced and waxed and did whatever he could to this card to make it as clean as possible. And at the end of the day, that's what you should be doing. Because the PSA will let you walk into their office and shout out your drug dealer. Like this is like getting, it's like imagine like the USADA, the Olympic drug testing. He goes in there, he's getting drug tested he's about to complete in the Olympics. The NorCal guy about to complete in the Olympics, guys. He's about to qualify with the Victor card. And then he qualifies. And then the first thing he says is, thank God for Victor Conte. Thank you, Victor Conte, for hooking it up. I mean, this is where we're at. And then collectors, which is USADA, comes out and says, yeah, even though he thanked his steroid dealer, well-known steroid dealer, even though he thanked him, I don't think there's anything going on here. I don't think there's anything going on here. Do they really think you guys are that? And this is why I like like the rest of the stuff. I'm not really that upset about. Whatever. You want to wax your picture, man. I don't care. But what I get upset about is like we have 1,000 people, 1,100 people tuning in right now. These are fathers, some mothers, but it's probably mostly men. These are guys that clock in the morning and clock out and work hard for their money. Some of them might have worked a long time, saved up a lot of money over a long period of time. Now they're enjoying the hobby. Or they're like me. They got little kids and their kids are getting into cards and they're opening them up. Or they're a young guy. They're just running into some money for the first time or whatever. They got a couple extra bucks. They're into this hobby. And this is how you're treated. This is how you're treated. People used to laugh at us, Ryan, when we talked about Rolex. When we talk about Rolex. Like if Rolex treated me like this, you never hear me say anything nice about them. I'm going to the Rolex shop on Saturday. Guys. The guy texts me before I come in. You know, actually care. I mean, yeah, he cares about getting my money, but we text each other. How you doing? How's the family? This, that, and the other. I don't get a Rolex and think, oh, is this real gold or is this link hollow? You know, I don't have to think about that. I know it is. I know what I'm paying for. I'm getting what it's supposed to be. But with these cards, I don't know. It's a PSA 10, but it's not. It's a PSA 10, but it was rubbed. It was a PSA 2, and now it's a 4 after it got soaked. It's a tragedy.
It's trimmed.
Tragedy. And people get fed up with this, especially the more sophisticated. And the more you get into the hobby, you get fed up with it. You don't want to see this. You don't want to buy that card. Why would I want to buy that card? And they're telling you, oh, we can't do anything about it. Bullshit. Like 3 of those cards come through the door a year. Max. You ain't grading that many cards. Like, you know. And then, yeah, with AI and photo matching and all this shit, you can figure that out. And decertify it and blow these people up too. Publicly shame people. I think you should be shaming people. That's what's worked out so well for Sports Card Radio. We've made a fortune actually putting a name and a face to these criminals and the crooks in the industry. We actually show you who these people are. This is why people threaten lawsuits against us and this, that, and the other. Say, oh, we're going to pull up to a card show, this, that, and the other. It happens a hell of a lot less now than it did a couple of years ago. But we actually put a name and a face to these people. And that's what should be happening in the hobby. If you rub and wax a card and try to get that over on the hobby, you should be named. The list of people that have done this should be right there on the homepage. We put a name and a face to all these guys. With the help, obviously, of the community that actually cares about these cards. You have to go deep into the forums and the interwebs of websites that people barely even traffic anymore. But there are people in this hobby that do care about this stuff. Clearly, there's 1,100 people watching tonight. I don't think it's because they don't care. They do care. And I wish the hobby would treat the people in this industry with some respect. They don't. And the problem is they don't treat the product with any respect. Doing this to your card treats it with no respect. I wouldn't even do this to my watch, which is like rated to go down 9 million meters down below seawater. I wouldn't even do this with a watch. Wouldn't rub that crap on my 18 karat gold. Would never do that. But it's unfortunate. And we will try to expose the people in this industry and bring it to light as much as possible. But I'm just to me it's the thing that upsets me the most is they treat you guys almost like you don't have a brain and you don't see what's going on here. And almost everybody in this, people wonder, well, Sports Card Radio gets a lot of people tuning in. It's because we're one of the only people that actually treats you guys like you have an IQ. Jeff Wilson treats you like you don't have an IQ. That you can't tell that he had $2 million of PPP loan forgiven and that he didn't overbuild his shop and that he isn't an idiot that doesn't even know what guys play for, what teams people play for. He doesn't really know anything about the hobby. He's learning right along with us. But, I'm the sports card investor. I'm an expert. I'm a hobby hero. And then Topps gives him a trading card. I mean, it's insulting. It's insulting. Not that he gets a trading card, but that most of these people treat you like you have an IQ of 0. And at the end of the day, all they really care about is your money. That's all they really care about. That's all they really care about is they just want your dollars. They want you to buy the SGC4 that was a 2. They want you to buy the Victor Wembanyama that's 60-40 and rubbed with Kurt's card care. They want you to pay $1 million for it. PSA should have slapped a 1 on that. Like if PSA had a nutsack, they should have slapped a 1 on that. PSA 1. We'd be sitting here talking about it. It would have made the same news if they slapped a 1 on that card. Instead, they slapped a 10 on it like you guys can't see the centering and can't see the guy thank his steroid dealer when the card came out of 10. I mean, there ain't nobody denying that Barry Bonds didn't take steroids anymore. There ain't nobody denying that. Even his most staunch fans and believers. They ain't nobody denying that the whole Giants baseball team was on roids at that time. Bobby Estalella, who was the other catcher that was like 95 years old and looked like he was fucking jacked? Benito Santiago looked like a Playboy model. I mean, god damn. Give me some of that. Jesus.
Oh my
People
Lord.
wonder why Sports Card Radio has had such long success in this hobby. And I think the one thing, I don't think we're more entertaining. We certainly don't have production value. We talk shit on some of those viewers and stuff like that. Like we patronize them, kind of like Sports Card Radio does. We talk crap on everybody in the industry. There's certainly not a lot of people that we've ever spoken nice about. Yet we outdraw all of these guys that have more subscribers, more following, have invested way more a better production value, better lighting, better sound, have 3 or 4 other people sitting around the room. They prepared, they got their laptops. Like Ryan, you know, I show up like 5 minutes before this thing's ready to go.
I think the hobby appreciates just doses of honesty. And even if it comes from us, it comes from Kurt's
It's
Card
rare.
Care. It is actually
It's
very rare.
It's as rare as a unjuiced card in the hobby these days. It's as honesty, transparency is rare. And that's why when I'm seeing out of Kurt's Card Care, he's actually honest and transparent. This is about as honest and transparent as it gets. Now, do I think this guy's got a few 2x4s between his ears? Yeah. But if I was a grader and a flipper, would I be buying his stuff? Absolutely. Be waxing it on every single card I could find.
Would you like to go to the chat and see what they have to say about?
I would take a quick break
drama.
and look at the cards first because there was a Mr. Beast autograph. Do you have that?
I'm not letting you buy a Mr. Beast autograph for $1,000.
Do you understand?
There is no way you can't find something he signed for cheaper than this. No way, right? This is not a guy who, if you saw this guy on the street, he would sign his fucking name for you. It's on a dollar bill.
Do you understand? More people.
I know who he is.
More people know and watch Mr. Beast on a weekly basis than any athlete in the world. Period.
I just
this guy's right up there in celebrity as Elon Musk. How much would you pay for an Elon Musk autograph?
He doesn't sign. Mr. Beast is going to sign his name probably for money at some point. He's going to be in a card set. He's going to sign if you subscribe to this or buy his Feastables or whatever the fuck it is. This guy's a young guy. He's going to be signed, especially if he sees his autograph is not worth $1,000. Period.
I don't know. Know.
Did you look to see what his autograph sells for, like on eBay?
You paid about the same price for a washed up quarterback last week number that wasn't probably properly juiced by Kurt's Card Care.
If I juice it, it'll become a 10. I don't know. $25,000. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't sign his name a lot. It just seems like it shouldn't be that much.
This guy is at a celebrity status that is very similar. Like Michael Jordan, you didn't see him walk around and signing his name.
It's got a minute left. Should I bid on this or how much is this worth?
I don't know, but he is in the top 5 most recognizable people in the world. Period.
I mean, here it is right here. It sold for fucking $515 in February 1st. Where were you then? You're telling me it went up?
That's right. You told me. I put it on my Instagram. So it probably got a little extra
the same
juice.
One? 8.7. Let's look.
Well,
I think it's the same.
I didn't say bid on it. I just wanted to see you bring it up. I didn't say bid on it, but I'm certainly not going to disparage a guy he's like, I don't think you understand. Like the reason why we have 1,100 viewers on YouTube right now is because YouTube is a hell of a lot more popular than basically every other TV combined.
Fair enough.
Okay. YouTube is big. YouTube is big. There's a reason why you and I have put a lot of time into YouTube because it's an exaggeration that it's bigger than cable TV and Netflix combined, but it's bigger than Netflix. Okay. And eventually it'll be bigger than cable TV. But this guy is the premier entertainer on the biggest entertainment. I mean, would I rather have that or Elon Musk? I'd rather have Elon Musk. And I did see a Cybertruck at the country club today. And I am mildly sad that it wasn't mine, but
it's a nice car.
It's big. It's big. Really big. Really big. It's huge. It's a huge car. But yeah, what do we have going on in the cards?
I don't know if I was that involved with anything. I mean, there's we're going to be set up at the San Francisco
Yeah.
Sports Card Convention. Shout out Auburn Sports Card Show. Shout out San Francisco Sports Card Convention. If you guys want to come see us, if you guys want to come soak some cards with us, wax some cards, trim some cards,
We'll have some wax.
there's no excuses here, guys. Auburn, California is one thing, but this is
baby.
fucking San Francisco.
You can fly
Cow
into
Palace.
SFO, and yeah, that's like
Yeah.
probably a 25-minute drive.
I don't
south.
want to hear any excuses. We're going to be here Friday and Saturday. Friday, we're going to be set up next to Auburn Sports Card Show. Shout out to Auburn Sports Card Show. Auburn Sports Card Show over here working hard over here. He definitely deserves a shout out.
Yep.
And we're going to be set up here March. So not this weekend, next weekend. You come trade cards with us. Come soak cards
We'll be
with us.
fine.
Come buy
I'll have
Kurt
money.
Cards Care product. I'll bring all the Kurt Card Care product that I'm
Kurt
gonna
might be
buy here
there.
in about
Yeah,
some-
we might bring him along.
We're hiring Kurt. Yeah, we're gonna give Kurt equity into Sports Card Radio, and we're gonna turn this into fucking multi-zillion-dollar fucking operation. We're gonna be juicing every fucking card. So come hang out with us is the bottom line. No excuses. I don't want to hear about, oh, well, this is the middle of nowhere. This is where the TriStar show used to be for like 30 years. So
I mean, it is the middle of nowhere, but I mean,
strap on your bulletproof vest. Pull your hat down a little low. Don't make eye contact with anybody and show up at the fucking Cow Palace. Come on.
Don't stop at the gas. Make sure you're fully gassed up before you come in. I would not want to gas up in that neighborhood. Believe me. Don't keep the windows up and locked. But
Please.
we'll be staying at a fine establishment in the city. So a fan of the show should meet up with us. If there's enough fans of the show, I'll take us out and we'll go buy dinner somewhere. Like if there's enough people that want to go, we'll go somewhere. Depending on how many people it is, depends on the quality. If there's like 100 of you, we might have to go to In-N-Out Burger, but if it's like 3, okay. Super chats. Joe Barrett, $4.99. Is it true that Betsy likes getting messages or massages with Kurt's Card Care oil? Ryan, you would know better than me. Betsy with the oil.
I cannot confirm or deny that Kurt's Card Care works elsewhere other than trading cards, ladies and
Maybe
gentlemen.
that's why it's selling so well. Like Roman, you know that company Roman, like that they'll start eventually it'll be like you can get your ED pill and your wax for whatever you want to do with it. Works on cards and works on other things too, guys. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, my man.
For surface grade looks good.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
It's true. It does look very smooth skin, clean complexion.
Goddamn
I'll
right.
pay no more than $40 for an SCR trucker hat. Merch is coming. We will have our grift very soon. I did say that everybody else cares about your money in this hobby. We will care more about it at
We're gonna
Sports Card Radio at some point. But we're gonna have a grift. Oh, that Kobe Bryant season ticket thing, $1,700 seems reasonable. Not that.
Really? JSA? Damn,
I wouldn't buy it. No, I wouldn't buy this. This is not something I'd buy, but I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's
I
cool.
see this every day. It has all the tickets or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Seems like he would sign that, like really quick.
That's a weak ass
Yeah, it's
autograph.
weird.
Man.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That's a weak one.
Yep.
But
Maybe he signed that for everybody else, and Panini gave his full effort for. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Thank you, Craig. Merch will come at some point. What happened? David XXX says, "What happened to spitting and stroking on the card to get a bigger grade?" Well, Kurt's taking it to a whole new level, David.
Oh boy,
we got all kinds of
stuff now. We got
Ryan,
tools now.
You now have an excuse to be spitting and rubbing on your bench warmer cards.
I have one from 10 years ago that I got at the industry summit, actually, that I just found. It's probably worth like $50.
Probably. I mean, never mind. Had a really bad joke there, but I'm not going to do it. Jason Moran with the $1. Thank you very much. And then he followed it up with a $5. Please address the continued insanity of people selling influencer cards at 60 to 80% comps. make them pay retail like everyone else.
120
Yeah,
bucks.
I think. Well, I think what he's talking about is you can show up and then like if you're a card collector too or whatever, people will show up with $100 card and gladly sell it to them for 60 or 70
Okay.
because it's card
Great.
collector too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we might benefit from that in a couple weeks.
That's true. That's true. Maybe there is some value there. But I would say like right now, I wouldn't say it's like a seller's market, but it's definitely more of a seller's market than like this time last year when we were on here. We're like, dude, we're getting 50% off deals on Golden or whatever. That ain't happening no more. Stuff like I was looking at Golden.
Full price,
baby. Full price. It's a seller's market.
Unless you dig in.
Unless you really dig in or you're or waxing or rubbing. This is why, everybody has kind of turned to this because there's not a lot of extra liquidity in the market. So yeah, I wouldn't be like we know people paying like full comp for cards because they can repack them.
Yeah.
So I would not be selling my cards cheap right now. Would not be selling unless it's Mac Jones. I start that. Yeah. Just see what it would go for.
$1,400.
Whew, still a lot.
That's still a ton.
There's always a chance. Cody with the $5.
It's a 9.9. Wait, it's a 9.9. You could rub it down and get a 10.10. There it is. There it is.
Yep, that's a 10. Sorry, guys. That'll be up on Signer's website here. Yeah, you bid on it. It's like there's a direct to ship to Kurt's. That would be the thing. It's right to Kurt. Why am I waxing this shit, Kurt? You should be waxing this. Looks like you've been snorting enough of this wax. I don't want to end up like that. Cody with the $5. What's up with Chris's card care? I like the dude. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on in this hobby, Cody, including Ryan's infatuation with Betsy, but that's always been there. Right. Joe again. Hank Aaron admitted he used amphetamines. Barry Bonds, Hall of Fame. That's right. Yeah, I think they were all using that stuff during that era. Like borderline, not borderline, but definitely.
Oh yeah, they were snorting coke in the 70s
they do.
or 80s.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah, I mean that was. He was like he would talk. I mean his stories about it were incredible. Like just not there on the team plane. Betsy Higgins, be like Kurt, get my bootsy tight. Joe Barrett. He and Betsy, I love it. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Jack Lynn, I have some Playboy cards from the 80s. They have been juiced. That's right.
They're juiced.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? You get like a old Playboy or something that's a little wrinkled, it's a little sticky.
It's a little sticky.
It'd make a lot of sense, but we're doing it now to pictures of men. That's how far we've come as a society. Philip Fabiani with the $20.
Whoa,
man. That will get you. What will that get you? One can of the juice, Ryan? How much is this juice?
Not when I'm selling it. Not when I scalp it. The juice is $29. If you just wanted the juice, $29.99. You better get this, guys. You better get it. You better get it now.
Oh, a new product.
You better get it. You better get it like now.
Dude, this stuff's gonna be like
only $9.99 left in stock. Okay, well that's easy. That's an easy decision. That's an easy decision. Got it. I'm wasting my time.
Infinity of this shit.
There we go.
Look at that. At that market,
not anymore, guys. Not anymore.
You're buying this shit like at Walmart, and then he just throws it in that tin. It's like some shoe polish, probably, or something. They've got that like mink oil. I would rub it on my leather shoes. Works great.
It's too bad our uncle, who was one of the world's greatest synthetic chemists, isn't still alive, because he was also a card guy. He would know exactly what this shit is and what's
that is true.
So it's unfortunate Coach Tom isn't around.
I know. He would be able to dissect this for us.
He would know exactly what this shit is.
It's too bad. Anyways, Philip says, as a professional card fondler of small pictures of men, I'm very confused about Kurt's special sauce. Philip, you're not the only one confused, my man. And we appreciate your $20. We also appreciate you being a professional fondler of pictures of men. There's merch coming. merch coming, and I think Fabiani might really like what's coming. Jason Moran with the $2. Sources say Mrs. Wilson was behind Breaker Babes. Oh, I don't know if that's.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay.
Mrs. Wilson behind.
We're gonna have to.
Would you, Ryan? Is it safe to say you would like to get behind Mrs. Wilson on Breaker Babes?
I ain't commenting on that. I'll get behind this girl right here. I'll get behind. She doesn't. I'll get behind whatever that is right there.
She almost doesn't look old enough, but maybe it's just because I'm too old. But that almost don't even look old enough.
We're strapping on the Kurt's Card Care juice and we're just diving in, baby.
Okay. Philip Fabiani with another $10. PSA is going to need a special testing program to figure out which small pictures of men have Kurt's special sauce. I think so. I think they're just going to offer it as a service. Like Ryan, what do you think is more likely? PSA figures out a way to detect this, or they figure out a way to profit off this and they just offer this as a service? Like, what do you think is more likely?
I think they wait for the next big story to happen and hope that everybody ignores this. I think they're too busy grading cards, and that, bolting on something like this. You're also pissing off the older generation who looks at this as, you're lighting this card on fire, equivalent. Maybe not this, but when you start getting into the soaking, I mean, this is getting a little bizarre. I mean, I'd hope there's some females in your life. If you're deciding to soak your cards on the weekends, I hope you at least have one or two females in your life in the spare time when you're not soaking cards. But I don't know if like they're gonna use this as a service, because then it's almost like a whole policy change for this company to say that. I mean, they're saying right here, no chemicals.
No, I don't think so. No. I
like an approved substance. An approved substance would be okay.
Yeah.
What if I go to the AutoZone and get McGuire's and rub it on here?
I mean, that's probably what it is.
It's probably what it is, but I don't know if they can now pivot from, hey, this is not allowed. This has really never been allowed. This is just reiterating that they fucking banned the juice. It's kind of like Major League Baseball. Are they going to allow fucking steroids? Maybe they should, because people probably watch. If you had guys the size of Barry Bonds hitting 75 home runs and hitting a home run every other at bat and getting intentionally walked in the other ones, it probably improved business, but it goes against the history of this company. Now, the history of this company is they graded.
No, the history of the company is first card it ever graded was a trim.
First card it ever graded was trimmed.
So it's right in line with the company. It's right in line. So I don't know. I agree. Philip Fabiani, if they were a reputable company, they would have a special testing program. But I think they'll come up with a way to profit from this. Be like, resubmit your card and we'll wax it off for you, and maybe you get a 10. Go from 8 to 10 for an extra $30. David Snyder with $10. Does Cards HQ sell Kurt's Card Care? I went on Cards HQ on Whatnot, and it felt like cringe, like that song, You Had a Bad Day. Had a bad day.
I had a bad day.
Like every time
I rubbed one out with Kurt's Card Care.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, but my guess is if Kurt's Card Care offered Jeff Wilson a couple of bucks for a shout out, Jeff would do it. Jeff would do it. Yep.
Well, Jeff said he was okay with card trimming on the on his thing today. He said he was okay with it. So
he's okay with card trimming. Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, not card trimming, card cleaning. He was okay with card cleaning. Okay. He did not give his opinion, but I don't think Jeff knows what I don't think Jeff has thought about. Like, Jeff thinks it's just this. Like, Jeff is fine with this. But what I want to know from Jeff, are you fine with this? Are you fine with this? And are you fine with this? This is the new thing Kurt's showing off, is the soaking.
Extreme.
This is done with modern and vintage. I've said this a number. We got vintage examples, but go to his Instagram. He's got fucking Trevor Lawrence's and Patrick Mahomes getting soaked for days.
Wow.
Is
Wow.
Jeff okay with this? Is Jeff okay? That's what I want to know. And every single content creator who strokes these grading card companies, and anytime these guys do anything, you guys are like bobbing up and down and shit.
Right.
Do you guys approve of this? Because let
Right.
me tell you what would have happened if PSA didn't made a statement. Guess what I was prepared to do? I was going to say, hey, I'm not going to grade another card until they do. And we would have been the only content creators who would have been able to say that because we don't grade cards.
Yeah.
But everybody's in the pocket of PSA. Everybody wants to make a nickel by grading a card or turning a 2 into a 4 or being able to rub into it. Nobody wants to call this out. Nobody wants to decertify the certs. So, Jeff, what's your opinion on this and other content creators? You guys, when you talking about cleaning, you weren't talking about this. Is this okay? Because this is going to be the new thing, is the soaking. Because the soaking gets out everything, the wrinkles, the dimples, the surface, everything. You'd rather soak your card for 2 days instead of buff it with car wax.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is the new thing. Right here. Kurt's Card Care Juice, soaking your cards. He's only been starting to promote this in the last few months, from what I could see. Before it was just the rubbing. Now we're going further. Now we're going much further. So Jeff and all you content creators, respond to this. That's what I would do.
Just to be clear, if collectors offered us $100 million for Sports Card Radio, we would sell it to them. And
sold.
Christine with the $2. I tell you what, guys, this might be the comment of the night. She says wax, juice, and lube. Sounds like a great time.
Couple lines of cocaine, and we really doing good, baby.
Wow, you took it to that next level, Lordy. Christine, I hear Ryan is going to be in Southern California, and you're going to be in Daly City next week and Southern California next month. Christine, if you want to show up with the wax, juice, and lube, Ryan will have a little snowball, and you might have a great time.
That's not true. That's actually not true, but
what's not true? Thank you, Christine.
The wax and the lube. I don't know if I've got it. I haven't secured it from Kurt's card. My drug dealer over here, Kurt, hasn't called me back yet. Throw me the text, dog.
The wax and the juice and the lube. We need to get that before
my drug dealers are not picking up the phone right now. I'm fucking sitting over antsy. Kurt, Victor, what the fuck?
Thank you,
I'm
Christine.
pissed.
Appreciate it. David Snyder, another $4.99. We get enough signature sites. We get enough signature sites with Sports Card Radio requests. Cards HQ sell Kurt's Card Care.
Yes.
I guarantee you he's going to have HQ care at some point. Like Jeff's going to make an investment. I tell you what, if I was Kurt, I would go to Jeff, ask for like $2 million. And Jeff would be like, I'll go. Okay. Sounds great.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this sounds like dibs. This sounds like
new market.
The new market. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't invested. Thank you, David Snyder. Smoking Scan. He knows about YouTube, baby. $9.99. All you need is a paint thick gauge.
There it is.
Detailers use them daily. Problem solved. Ah, interesting. Oh.
Ooh. Oh.
Wow.
This
Okay,
is
like-
interesting.
Oh, this is okay.
Okay.
I think we should do our own testing, Ryan. Like,
we should
get some juice.
Yep.
Get one of these. If they're $1,000, whatever, I'll buy it.
It
And
can't be that expensive.
can't be that expensive. I mean, shit, on Amazon, you could buy something and then return it or whatever.
$70. I mean, come on. It's
okay. I mean, I don't know if that one will work, but like, I'll get like a good one, like a decent,
All
not
right.
like the best
Get
of
the best one.
Get like a good one, like one that's not like cheap, but like not like mega expensive. I'll get one of these. We'll get some other stuff that maybe like we can ask around. We'll find some people that might know.
Okay.
But this is a good tip.
do this.
Anybody else out
Let's
there
do
that
this.
has a science background or a background like this where you know about devices like this, Smoke and Scan knows. We'll
us
do some
up.
testing. We'll get some juice and we'll rub it on these cards and we'll see if we can tell or not.
Mm-hmm. We need to do that. Hit us up right here.
David Snyder with another $4.99. The juice is loose. OJ, baby. Yeah. So I thought about today. Thought about OJ. The irony around OJ about how you got all this evidence that he killed his wife, but somehow we're supposed to believe he didn't. And it's the same thing with the Victor Wembanyama. Got all this evidence pointing it was juiced, but somehow PSA wants us to believe it's not. God bless you, OJ. Philip Fabiani with another $10. If PPP Jeff tells us it's okay to juice your card, it must be bad. Yeah, I would say Jeff's going to make this mainstream. He'll tell all of his followers, hey, it's all good. He'll come up with some HQ sauce. And that's the top of the market, guys. That's when it'll all go downhill. You won't be able to do your 8s and the 10s at that point. Jeff always comes in right at the end and gets none of the money. He's going to ruin Kurt's card margins too. Watch Kurt's card card margins. They're going to be going down faster than Jeff Wilson's bank account. That PPP loan. Watch his margins. Watch next week. You have to run a sale because they're going to be like 95 other guys are going to be doing the same thing.
Well, the funny thing is this Ohtani card was the card Jeff backed out of for $100,000.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing is no wonder Jeff's okay with the cleaning and the rubbing and the scraping and all that. Because man, he was about to drop $100K on an Ohtani that used to be a 9 and had an 8.5 surface.
9. And the only reason why he backed out, he got some tax bill, he said.
Some tax bill.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
That PPP loan had to get paid back.
Shit.
Maximilian with the $4.99. What room are you in at Cards HQ? Did Jeff lease it out? Ryan, you're always in the Card HQ. Always open.
Always open, and I'm always open to seeing Miss Betsy Higgins or any of the other females in the hobby. If they ever want to meet me at a Cards HQ break room, you ladies just let me the fuck know. We'll get some wax and some lube and a couple lines, and we'll be ready to go.
Me too.
Yeah, we'll stream it live. Make some room.
Maybe on OnlyFans.
I'll produce it.
Sports Card Radio OnlyFans, that might sell. Die for Radio, the Mad 4 report says, you guys have been entertaining me since 2010 through your website. I fucks with you guys all day. Thank you very much. It's been a long time. Can't believe it. It's actually been longer than that. It's like our, I don't even know. Time. I used to be like, it's our 8th year, our 10th year. Now I don't remember. I think it's like 16 or
16, I think.
16th year, bringing content to the interwebs.
We're almost legal.
We are. Think about that. Yeah. Girls, this is going to sound really bad. Girls born the year we started the trading card podcast, in a year or two will be legal for Ryan. You'd be like, I was born the day you started your podcast.
God damn. You're going to get Wander Franco and Chris Hansen knocking at my motherfucking door and shit. God damn.
You'll be okay.
Or the police.
Yeah. Big Fungus with the $5. My wife's boyfriend said you guys rock. And by the way, fuck Mojo Sports CC2 and Jeff P. Triple P Wilson. Big Fungus, thanks for the $5. And your wife's boyfriend, I bet he's on that wax and that sauce.
He on that sauce, baby.
And that's why he was able to hit your wife up. Thank you, Big Fungus. A lot of people in the chat, their wives have boyfriends and other, kind of
wow. Wow. We should have them on some night. I think we need to dive into that. Some life advice or something, love line or something.
I mean, we were dropping comments about Betsy before she was even divorced, so we're not even really sure that is even really a thing. So,
and Mike Smead's wife.
No, that's true. And I mean, there's been others. Joseph Dowd with a $5 Canadian, always coming in with that Canadian dollar. We love that Canadian dollar here. Hey guys, my WrestleMania poster sold for $39.50. That's right. After fees.
That's good.
But that seems like a lot. But the buyer hasn't paid yet. Is this normal? And what happens next? I still give it some time.
Another week.
Yeah, I'd give it some time and then
hit him up.
Then hit him up. Because sometimes what happens is my guess is you have people that buy stuff and then the next weekly auction comes. And then they have an elite auction coming for Golden. And so maybe you're waiting around for the next one and you're just trying to pay once, or sometimes two. You get paid on Fridays, right? So Friday's tomorrow. It's a payday for a lot of people. Payday comes in, you pay off that credit card or whatever, and now you're going to be able to fit the $39.50 on the card. That's how I would think about it. Or you got
whoever did buy it is currently getting blown up with emails. I mean, Golden will, like, if you don't pay within 4 or 5 days, they'll start blowing your ass up. And then a week out, they'll start really blowing you up.
Yeah, they call you.
Yeah, they start really blowing you up. So I would maybe reach out to Golden. They're good about getting back to you and just see like what do they think on it. And then I've had it to where I listed something and then I got paid like 2 weeks later. You know what I mean? Sometimes sometimes you get paid right away, and then sometimes you don't. And that's just unfortunately the nature of the auction business on any site.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you get paid out. I hope $39.50 seems like a good price. I hope you get paid out. And a week though doesn't seem super unreasonable at the current time.
If it has to get relisted, hit us up and we'll pimp it again. We'll pimp it. We'll put it on the show. We'll pimp it.
We'll pimp it again. You don't even got to throw a super chat. Just send us a DM.
Just send us email. Yeah, send us email.
Title City Sports Mike with the $5. Great show, guys. Thank you, Title City. Appreciate it, my man. Thank you for tuning in and the $5. J Max IU 204 with the $5. I'm convinced Kurt Cardcare spray is just a $60 tiny bottle of distilled water or Letterman juice. I agree. This is just off the shelf stuff. And I'm not criticizing Kurt's Cardcare. I'm going to say we've done stuff like this, but this is just an arbitrage thing where he's getting some kind of juice and he repackages it and sells it to a certain market. This is an arbitrage play. So I don't mind it. And, but I would expect 90 million other, I mean, he's got some brand recognition now. He's getting shouted out in the headquarters. Thank you, Kurt. I mean, this is like Victor Conte. Like if you wanted sauce back in the day and you were a baseball player or an Olympic athlete, you went to Conte. So he's got some name recognition kind of in the illegal substance game. And, that game, I guarantee you though, Jeff Wilson's going to entrench on this. Jeff's going to have his own spray and his own wax and his own wipe downs real soon. The legend of Brett Morrison and Ozzy the dog with the $2. He says Kurt Cardcare, #1 on Tuesdays, SCI top 5. That's right. That'll be the #1.
That's true. It's true.
#1.
Because I'm gonna sell his ass out. I know that for a fact.
You go get it.
I'm gonna get it all.
What's the liquid? How much do I got to pay for the liquid that I soak in there? Like, what's that cost? Spray, right? Like that's a spray. Like, is it the kit up at the top or?
I don't know what the juice, like this little juicy juice that he's putting right here. Yeah,
what's that?
This juice. We'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
What the juice is. Because I don't think, it's not the spray, it's something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're using a lot of juice, man. These cards better be worth a lot. I mean, 8-ounce spray is $60. I mean, look at how much liquid is in that fucking thing. I mean,
I know
a few ounces at least. I mean, that's more than a couple sprays. It might be the whole bottle.
He says
it's like $60 a card.
So you don't get the juice to dip. So you can't have the dip juice yet. Seems like an opportunity there for Jeff Wilson to have the HQ dip.
Right.
HQ dip real quick. Or how about our guy? What's his name? The dip guy. Why dip $30 unopened packs when you could just sell a dip?
Sell a dip.
Your cards I can just think of so many great merchandise opportunities for us in the coming weeks ahead with just poking fun.
We're gonna be number 2. Yeah, Kurt's card #1, and we're gonna be number 2 right behind him with that grift.
Right behind him.
Guarantee you.
Sales. Merch. We're gonna start caring about that dollar over here. Sports Card Radio. Collectors Universe. If they call us to sell out, Cards HQ calls us to sell out, guys. It's been a great Thursday night. We deuces, and we gonna take that money and run, because that's what the rest of these guys in this industry are doing. But so next week we'll be just a couple of days away from being in the great city of San Francisco, and setting up at the beautiful venue that is the Cow Palace. Just so clean and modern.
Is there going to be anybody sleeping out front? Can people just walk in and grab shit and walk out? Is that how this card show? It's going to be. I mean, maybe that's why people should go, because in San Francisco you can just walk into CVS and just grab anything you need, grab all your groceries, and walk the fuck out.
Yeah, just come and grab what's off our table and walk out.
Grab the juice, walk out.
In fact, if we try to stop you, it's a felony. It's a felony on us, not you.
Right?
So
You'll be arrested.
Come on in. But the Cow Palace is exactly how you would, if you've never been to San Francisco or never been to California or don't know what the Cow Palace is. Cow Palace sounds exactly how it is. This is not, it ain't a palace, and if it was, it'd be for cows. So it ain't glorious. That's for damn sure. I think the Warriors used to play there. I think they won
the fucking Beatles. The Beatles played there, so that's how old that motherfucker is.
Yeah, I think the Warriors won a title in that place. Like, I actually think
they did.
Won the NBA championship. Yeah, that's about how it looks, guys.
Ocean views, bay views, baby.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, right behind it.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the only thing we'll be viewing. Guys, 1,100 of you strong tuned in for the night. We appreciate it. Did you win anything auction wise? Did you win anything?
I'm saving my money for something big later on in the month.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
That's my.
I
didn't win the Mac
Jones
Jones
for the last couple of days. Bought a Magic. I bought a Tiger. Arnold Palmer. I spent like over $1,000 last day. Should have waited and got a PSA 8 and waxed it.
You should have rubbed him down. Yeah, you should have rubbed him down and fucking had Kurt look at him.
Yeah, I should have. Well, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark. I think we'll call it quits. It's 7:30 out here on the West Coast, 10:30. With the time change, it probably feels like 11:30 for most of you. Thank you all for tuning in to the #1 program on the internet for sports trading cards, pictures of men that are now being juiced and waxed and rubbed and sprayed and all the bathe. I mean, people are probably bathing their trading cards more than they're bathing themselves in this industry. People have given their card a bath more often than they bathed this week. But who is to blame you when the grading companies look the other way, can't detect it, don't seem to care? And that is the industry we're in. We'll take 7 days off, at least from a live perspective. Could maybe check out the other channel. Might be a podcast posted later this week. Ryan will probably have a video. And we'll see you again next Thursday. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, super producer Tim in the background. We hope to get one of those buyout offers from either Collectors, Cards HQ, or maybe even Kurt's Card Care probably got the money now to buy video as well.
Cool. He does.
We're waiting for that buyout offer. If that buyout offer does not come, we will join you again next week. But until then, we are out of here.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Trying to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay. He's getting money. Even better, tax-free. Loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
beginning, outro of Sports Card Radio. And all other hobby live combined.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on cost stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
Peace out.